Hello guys, and welcome back to another video, explainer video for CSC. In today's video we're going to be going over the marketplace and everything about it, from the differences in stations to dealing with buy contracts and sell contracts to ranges on those contracts, just a general overview of how the market is organized and the tabs in it, and everything in between. To get started, to get to the marketplace, you're going to want to click this shopping cart icon. Now, it's important to note that you can actually access the marketplace from anywhere, whether you're in Slipstream, out in Fringe, docked, undocked, you can look at it. The difference is when you are not docked, you are not able to place buy orders. You are not able to place anything up for sale. However, you can buy out from existing selling contracts. So if I was out slipstreaming right now, I would be able to buy ore from like this list. Like I'd be able to buy this stack of 3,260 ice ore right here if I wanted. Um, but if you want to place buy orders, that'll show up down here, or you want to place items up for sale, you need to be docked at a station. To place items up for sale, you need to be at the station those items are at. So if I have stuff at GFI Home that I want to sell, I need to go to GFI Home station and place it for sale from there. So another thing to note is this marketplace window is actually part of the overall GFI network window, which you can get to from most places in the game. So once you're on the marketplace tab, you get a nice little sub menu here with 5 sections. The first section that we're going to be spending most of our time in is this buy and sell section. So this is where all of the active buy and sell orders in the game are at. You can see everything in the game, no matter where the buy or sell order is, you can see it here. An important thing to note about this tab is it is split into two other tabs, assets and resources. Assets being ships, modules, skins, primarily things like that. They are defined as NFTs, non-fungible tokens. This means they can be minted on the Ethereum blockchain. You can withdraw them to your Ethereum wallet if you wish, and sell them on a third-party marketplace. However, using an Ethereum wallet in the blockchain is not required whatsoever for the game. You can play the game for years and never touch an Ethereum wallet and just play it as a normal video game. The next tab is resources. These are all fungible tokens, which means they cannot be minted on the blockchain. These are strictly in-game items, so they can only be bought and sold in-game. So this includes stuff like components, subcomponents, ship salvage, different types of ores, blueprints, personnel, all the miscellaneous stuff in the game that you could touch outside ships, modules, and skins, essentially. So moving back up to the submenu, we have the items catalog. This is organized very similarly to the buy and sell tab we were just on. It's got split up into assets and resources. The only difference is this is very obviously a catalog. This is not buy and sell orders. But this is a great place to get information. So what this is going to tell you is all the stats on items, and then if the item can be crafted, it's going to have the crafting recipe right here. And then all the ship stats or module stats or whatever else will be down here. Now the nice thing about this catalog is all the items are going to have this little purple circle with an eye in it. And when you click this, you can essentially drill down. So say I want to craft a destroyer and I need frameworks, so I need to know what I need to make frameworks. I can just click this little eye and boom, it took me to the framework page, tells me what I need to make frameworks, and say I need some more electrum ingots. What do I need to make electrum ingots? I can click the eye again and boom, it tells you right there. And you just keep drilling down and see everything you want. It'll show you the ratios for refining and making components and everything in between. It's very useful, the items catalog. It's a good thing to just kind of like meander around in as you're maybe in Slipstream or just doing nothing, waiting for a ship to arrive in FTL. You can find a lot of good info in here. Answers a lot of questions for you, and also just kind of gives you a good overview of how the game works, at least the crafting system and like ship and module stats. The next tab is going to be your active orders tab. This is going to be all buy and sell contracts you currently have open. Selling contracts are items you've placed for sale. There is no limit on this. You can place as many things for sale as you want. I've had a lot of these sell contracts up for quite a while now. I just haven't bothered to go through and clean house or change them over. You can see like I have 3 different price points for Xenos just because I've been too lazy to cancel them. But the important thing to note about selling contracts is there is no expiration date, and there's also no fee for listing them. So you can list as much stuff as you want, and you don't have to pay a fee. But it's important that you kind of want to go through and clean out your stuff every once in a while. I've been kind of bad about that because these things are going to exist on the marketplace until you close them out. Now, on the bottom half here, we have our buying contracts. What a buying contract is basically you posting something up in the marketplace saying, hey, I want to buy this at this price and I want this many of it. One of the big things to note about buying contracts is the range. So range is something very specific to buying contracts. It doesn't have anything to do with selling contracts. Like you don't select range whenever you're selling anything at all. It's just when you're buying. And the reason this is important is this basically tells people where they can sell into this buying contract at. So you can see this order I have open for tourmaline ore has a station limited range. So what that means is if someone wants to sell me some tourmaline ore at 1 GRP a piece, they have to take that ore to GFI home station to sell it. Now if my range was set to unlimited, they could sell into this buy order from anywhere. A lot of stuff, like at least higher value stuff like modules and ships, I'll have my range unlimited. But I'm working with something like ores or components that I'm going to have a large quantity of, I always set the range to station, almost always, unless I'm like really desperate for something, then I'll set it to unlimited. And the reason that is if I put this to unlimited, you could have 10 different people sell into this buy contract, then I have to run to 10 different stations and pick up all that ore, and it's just a pain. So keep that in mind when placing your buy orders. Another thing to keep in mind with buy orders is that when you place it, it is going to take all the GRP necessary to fulfill that buy order and put it into escrow. So like you can see right now, I have an escrow balance on this buy order of 34,728 GRP. That means this money is sitting in escrow. It does not count to my total GRP balance over here. And if I close this buy order right now, I would receive this 34,728 GRP right back. And the other thing to note with buy contracts is they are currently limited to 20. So you can only have 20 open at a time, though that limit may potentially increase in the future. So you kind of want to use these strategically for now, especially if you're going to be very active in the marketplace. The next tab is closed orders. So this does not show everything you buy and sell in the marketplace. This tab is only going to show orders that were on this tab and then closed out. So it's only going to show stuff that I've actively placed sell orders for that were open for a while, or I actively placed buy contracts for that were open for a while. And you probably hear me, I just want to know that you guys are probably hearing me jump back and forth between saying buying contracts and buying orders, selling contracts, selling orders. Ordering contracts, the same thing. It's just two terms I kind of use interchangeably, so there's no difference between a buying contract and buying order. It's the same thing. I'm just being messy with my terminology. So here you're going to see everything, all the orders that you've ever had, and it'll tell you the type and when it was closed and the price and the location and everything. And then the last tab is transactions tab. This tab is actually going to show you all of your marketplace activity. And not just your marketplace activity in game, it's also going to show you all of your marketplace activity on third-party sites like OpenSea. Currently, OpenSea is the only third-party marketplace integrated into this, but you are able to see, like if you buy something on OpenSea for ETH, it will show up here. I'm not even going to try to go back because I probably have to go back 20 pages to see an ETH order on OpenSea since I have not been active on there. So one thing to keep in mind in the marketplace currently, in-game, you can only transact in GRP or GFC. If you want to sell or buy something with ETH, you need to go to a third party like OpenSea.io. Now back to the buy and sell tab, and we're going to actually start looking at buy and sell orders. So let's take a look at the ICE. We have it up here. Oh, before we jump into that, let's go over the filters here, because that can be a tad confusing. So you have these 4 options here. This one is just expand all. This one is collapse all. And this one lets you filter for contracts. So say if I'm looking for somebody Maybe I want to see all ores that somebody has a buy order open for in GRP. So you can see it kind of filtered there, but I don't see anything yet. So what I typically do is I'll put my parameters in here. So I want to see all items that have buy orders open for GRP, and then I'm going to hit expand all. I don't care about opponents, so I'm going to collapse that. I don't care about subcomponents there, I'll just collapse that. Or personnel. I want to work primarily in ore right now. So all this stuff you're seeing open that I just collapsed, all of that actually had people willing to buy it for GRP. Um, and we're just going to stick with ice because I can see it's got a good amount of orders here and a nice variety. So what we're looking at now is all the open selling contracts and open buying contracts for refined ice. um, these colors here, there's actually two colors. We're not seeing the other one. So green means this buy or this sell order is at the station. So if I bought this, anything with this green, highlighted green right now, that means these items are at the station I'm docked at now. And I think the other color is blue color. It's either blue or orange. But if you see another color here, that means it's in the same system, but not necessarily at this station. And then anything else just is in another system. Now, one thing to note is even though I've selected GRP here, it doesn't actually filter the orders. What this is doing is this is a inclusive filter, not an exclusive filter. I mean, this is only going to show me all items that have GRP buy orders open, but it's not going to filter out like any GFC orders. Like this one has a GFC sell order here, so that's still going to show. And that's something you really want to pay attention to because there's a lot of like, it can get a little messy on some ores. Like I bet if we look at raw iron ore, well, raw iron ore doesn't have buy contracts, so got filtered. Let's look at titanium. So yeah, so titanium, you can see how many sell orders it has. You can see it kind of bumps back and forth between GFC and GRP. So you really want to pay attention when you're in here buying sell orders to which currency it's in. Like pay attention looking and then double check and triple check because last thing you want to do is buy something for 5 GFC each when it's worth 5 GRP each. Let's go back to the ice. So and then next to buy from a selling contract, all you're going to do is you can either, I usually just double click and it pops up, or you can click and then click the purchase button and just hit the quantity you want to buy and click buy and it'll pop up. That's pretty easy. Um, Buying contracts are not as intuitive. To create a buy contract, you just hit your new order here, select your currency, put it in, and then set your bid range. This is what we were talking about earlier, the difference between station and unlimited. When you're buying large stacks of ore, I would recommend setting it to station, and then put your quantity in and create. And then once you create it, it's going to take your total GRP out of your balance here and put it into escrow. Now, if I want to sell into a buy contract, it's not quite as intuitive. So to sell into a buy contract, you essentially need to create a matching sell contract for it. So to create a sell contract, and this creating a sell contract applies whether you're selling into a buy order or not, it's done the same way. To create a sell contract, you're actually going to need to go to your station cargo, and we're going to search for the item we want to sell. So we want to sell refined ice. So I'm going to filter down to ore first, and then I'm just going to search for ice, and boom, we got both our refined ice and our raw ice, but we're selling refined ice here. I got a stack for 5,000 that I want to sell into one of these buy orders. Now looking at these buy orders, we have one for 15 GRP, one for 13, and one for 8. I'm not even looking at the one for 8 because it's so much lower. The 15 GRP one is a station-specific range at GFI Home. I'm not at GFI Home right now. I don't feel like transporting the ore, so I am not even a bother with this order because I have this nice one right below it for 13 GRP. Good enough for me, and it's got unlimited range, so since I'm at Proxima I can sell into this since it's unlimited range. So with a buy contract, when you're selling into it, you don't have to sell in the total amount. If you wanted to sell 10 ice ore into this, you could. If you want to sell 20,000, you could. Doesn't matter. Might cut out for a second there, but we're just gonna jump right back in. So I was at, we were just about to create a stack of ice ore to sell into this 13 GRP contract. So, to do that, you're going to want to right click and split off however much you want. If you if you just want to sell a full stack, you obviously don't need to split, you just sell that full stack. I already have a nice stack of 5,000 ice ore, refined ice, that I'm going to sell here. So you're just going to right click on it, go to sell, and what you want to do is you just want to match the buy order you want to sell into. So we're matching this one for 13 GRP. So make sure you select the right currency, that's very important. 13 GRP. Go over the details. 13 GRP looks good, 5,000, 3% fee. It's 3% here because I'm at Proxima Prime, which is a player-owned station. GFI stations are all 5%, so you save a little money selling out of Proxima Prime. And I'm just going to click sell. This warning is pretty much always going to pop up for many items just because the market data is a little out of whack right now. But really, all this is just giving you a second time to confirm that you're selling at a price you want if the game thinks it's a lower price. I know 13 GRP is okay, so I'm just going to click through this, but I would not get in the habit of just like clicking through this without looking at it. It's always a good idea to double check that you didn't like miss a decimal or a digit here. Like you accidentally sell it for 13 GRP instead of 130 GRP, for instance. But I know this is good, so I'm going to click yes. And I think we're getting a little lag in the marketplace today, so this might take a few seconds. Oh, no, it went through already. So you see the order popped up on the top here. It's going to process. All of your items have sold since we sold right into this buy contract. You can see it decreased by 5,000 in the quantity, so that person now has 5,000 more ice ore, and I got my GRP. And then to make sure to actually see this order in the history, you can come over to either closed orders. You can see it popped up at the top here, and it should show in transactions as well, I think. Nope, it'll just show in closed orders. I was incorrect. And that is how you sell into a buy order. Now, if you just wanted to sell a stack of ice ore, you do pretty much the same thing, but then obviously you don't have to match any kind of buy order. You just price it out however you want. The best way to price things right now is just to go into the marketplace and look at the current sell orders for that and price accordingly.